Hi, everyone. Welcome to the information session for years 3, 4, and after that, students. My name is Andrea Smith, and I'm just going to take you through some information that you might want to know as you get near the end of your degree. So what I'll cover today is your eligibility to graduate, your deadlines for graduation, a little bit about convocation grad clothing, and plans around graduation. And then what happens next? Is there anything that we can help do to help prepare you better for a future in kinesiology or applied health? So making sure that you are eligible to graduate is really important. So not just looking at this list, but probably either going through the checklist or talking to an academic advisor to make sure that you have fulfilled all of these credit requirements. 12 hours in humanities, 6 credit hours in science isn't hard to get in any of our a lot of our courses count towards sciences, so nutrition and human phys and biology all are science credits, so you should be fine with that, as well as 12 credits in social science and your academic writing, unless you haven't had it waived by having a high grade leaving grade 12. And then you need an Indigenous credit, and not all Indigenous courses are requirement or meet the criteria for your Indigenous course requirement, but there is a list in your calendar just to make sure. And it should say on a course syllabus whether you get your Indigenous credit, required credit. Something that has happened in the past is that students take too many 1,000 level courses, and especially near the end of their degree, and they want to maybe boost their GPA up a little bit, and they go back to some of the early courses. You can only take up to 42 credit hours maximum at 1,000 levels. And of these, some of them can be below the 1,000 level. So there are a few courses, if you didn't have your high school requirements for math or chemistry, for instance, you can take those courses in university, but they're below the 1,000 level. and those count towards your 1,000 level. So just be careful on how many 1,000 level courses you're taking. Then after that, you need to take a minimum of 78 credit hours, 2,000 level or above, and not exceed the maximum of those introductory courses. So just watch that. You also, again, this is not really hard to get in kinesiology, but do check your courses to make sure that you have a minimum of 3 credit hours from 5 different subject areas or 5 different departments. So that is the letters at the beginning of the course name. So kin would be obviously for kinesiology, bio, psych, those are the different subject areas. But really best to talk to an academic advisor in the academic and career advising department if you're not sure. And it's probably helpful just to have an extra set of eyes look over your current transcript. So the deadline is actually February 1st, so you're going to want to apply as soon as possible and make sure that before you apply, you have declared your major. Now, how you can do that is by contacting our department assistant, and her information is at the end of this presentation, and fill out a form to declare your major. In terms of applying for graduation, if you're planning on graduating in June, February 1st is your deadline, and if you have a couple of courses to take in spring and want to convocate in October, then August 1st is your deadline for that. And you can just apply for graduation through WebAdvisor. So it's tough to talk about convocation because we don't really know what form it's going to take. The last few convocations have been virtual, but they fulfill all of the regular same format and everything as an in-person graduation or convocation, I should say. There is, if the president says something and the departments are recognizing their students. So, we do the best that we can with convocation. If it ends up being face-to-face, you'll get more information through your student email. So make sure you're checking that, and information gets sent to you, the home address on file at Student Central. So make sure that that's up to date in case if you've moved or if your family has moved and they can't pass on that information. You'll get that information in early June or in mid-October. If we have a face-to-face convocation, then we will also send information specifically to our students about getting a picture together in the Recplex after convocation. And on the very first slide here, you can see the pictures taken from above. We're down on the field, and there's a mass group of graduates. So we'd love you to be part of that picture. As well, if you're in person, there are pictures taken of you by a professional photographer as you cross the stage, and you have the opportunity to purchase those. You'll see there's a link to UWinnipeg Convocation. So you can go onto the UWinnipeg website and just put in the search bar convocation. The information is still there from last year, but it would be very similar, and you can take a look there. Did I go forward too? Let's just see. Yeah, I did. I missed one. So awards and scholarships. So our department actually hands out up to 10 awards, and some of them are for athletic therapy students and others for health and Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, and a Bachelor of Kinesiology as well. So we have awards and we have scholarships. So scholarships is money, and awards is a recognition that you have a certificate that you can put on your resume. It shows that you were in top standing in the class. I did a little screenshot of the awards and scholarships portion of the kinesiology department website. And if you scroll under those pictures, you'll see all the list of awards. You can look to see if you qualify. Basically, for almost every award, you require at least a GPA of 3.0 in the last couple of years. So if that might preclude you immediately from applying, but you should look at the criteria anyways. The University of Winnipeg also hands out $6 million in scholarships every year. And so you could look on their awards and financial aid page, awards and financial aid page, and they have a list of many, many awards. And I think it's one application for most of these awards. So you don't have to be applying for 20 different times for 20 different things. Along with convocation and grad, our student group, the Kinesiology and Athletic Therapy Students Association, or CATSA, will communicate with you regarding plans for any sort of celebration outside of what the university provides in convocation. So we do like to have some sort of get together with our students. Of course, the planning for that has been tentative this year since we don't really know what public health orders will allow. But do look for information in their newsletter and attending their meetings, which there is one on January 26th. And if you email CATSA at uofwcatsa@gmail.com, if you're not on their mailing list, then you can be added to the notice for meetings. CATSA also provides volunteer and job opportunities, as well as continuing education, et cetera. And you can see here the list of our CATSA board members. And just as a note, myself and Jeff Billick are faculty advisors for CATSA. If you're interested in getting involved in CATSA, which I have to say they're doing a fantastic job over the pandemic, it's been very difficult to not be in person. But if you're interested in helping students have a better experience at university than just the academic side of things, then contact Brooklyn or Neil through the U of W CATSA email and offer your services for next year. They're looking for board members and they'd love to have you. I want to mention too, especially for those of you who are not graduating right away, but have a year or so left, we have an honors degree in kinesiology. We started it a couple of years ago and it's been very successful. You need to be registered in your four-year BKin degree and have completed a minimum of 45 credit hours and have a minimum GPA of 3.0 across all kin courses taken in your first 3 years. So again, we're looking for students that have high academic standing. And what you need to do for the honors, it is a note on your transcript that you're graduating with honors and you are doing 3 courses: an honors thesis 1, an honors thesis 2, and an honors seminar. Honors thesis 1 is in the fall term, and it is a course where you develop an outline for a potential project and you propose that research project within your class. Now, these classes are quite small. I think this year we have 3 or 4 students. The year prior, we had 6 or 7. I think it's a little harder to do virtually for students. Not harder, but maybe not the first choice for students. But if you apply and contact, you can talk to any of the department members regarding honors, find an area that you are interested in pursuing more information about. So, some student might come to me if they wanted to do an honors that had a project with people with disabilities or with aging. If it's exercise science, you would find other professors and instructors that could help you with that topic, etc. So you do need an advisor. and you need to apply. And the application, you can see the link there, is on the department website, which I will keep sending you back to with every slide almost. So honors thesis 1 is the project proposal. Honors thesis 2 is methods and data collection. And then you present to whoever would like to listen to you at the end. So your classmates and some other faculty and anybody that might also be invited. In the last couple of years, it's been over Zoom. And an honor seminar course is also a small course that has specific topics about how to pursue higher education regarding knowledge dissemination, literature review, publication, and that kind of thing. So further questions about honors, you can ask department members. You could email Danielle DeFree, who is our chair, and or the information on the last slide, which is info@kinesiology website. Email. If you're thinking about graduate school, there are lots of choices, and it's really a matter of getting on your computer and searching for different things. So you want to find an area that you're interested in. What was your favorite course? What might you want to pursue? What questions do you have leaving our department? And then depending on the area, again, talk to your faculty member that had taught that course, and they may know about master's programs that are specialized in those areas or places to go. We actually have quite a few grad students that are currently in England and Scotland pursuing some graduate work. You will potentially require some financial support or are eligible for financial support, which you will work towards getting with your graduate supervisor. So finding a program that you're interested in pursuing, finding a topic and someone to guide you with that, so a supervisor. You could also look at things like a thesis or a course-based program. There are master's degrees that you require, and most master's degrees require that you do a research project that includes a thesis and a presentation of the proposal and the thesis. But there are other programs that are course-based. And a good example that most people might know is the Masters of Physio and Occupational Therapy at the University of Manitoba. So those are course-based plus clinical time that you end up with your master's degree after that. There's also opportunities that our research at U of W, our research department, can help you with grad school applications. And it really looks good on a resume and gives you some kind of hands-on experience if you are able to be a research assistant for people in our department or other departments that interest you, as well as even being a lab demo or a marker. And lastly, we have an option for doing a directed studies course in our department. If there's an area that doesn't get covered at all or very minimally in courses that you strongly would like to pursue in a directed study, you and your faculty member can actually devise a course around this topic. So you devise the course outline, you devise the evaluation methods, you devise the literature you're going to look at. You know, you may come up with readings or a textbook. And between the two of you, you decide what will qualify for a course that is worth 3 credit hours, and you can propose that as a directed study. So again, if you're interested in that, it's best to talk to a faculty member that is in the area that you would like to pursue. So where do our grads go? And this is a tough question to answer because it's so varied. Certainly with the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education is a 3-year degree that is designed to be combined with an education degree so that our physical education teachers out there in Manitoba have both an education degree and a kinesiology degree. The 3-year degree also has been used as a prerequisite for graduate programs that only require a 3-year degree, but it's not always the most appropriate degree to take for further education in physiotherapy, occupational therapy, et cetera, because it's focused specifically on children, pedagogy, and the school system. So other things that you can pursue are things like childhood education, camp counseling, any work with kids is beneficial with your Bachelor of Physical and Health Education if you don't want to teach. There are positions in government as wellness consultants. There are policymakers, and you could work in a personal care center in the recreation department. Case management for insurance is a common area for some of our athletic therapy students to go. There's lots of recreation program management, community club management, sport administration and management, being a director of an athletics or an athletics instructor. There's certainly opportunities in coaching, and we have lots of coaching courses that we can provide for you. Some really interesting ones are things like sport design, equipment, retail, prosthetics, orthotics, and then lots of health and wellness promotion. So we have health educators throughout Manitoba that work for the health authorities. And many of the individuals that are in those positions have kinesiology degrees. It's a great job. It's a very difficult job, but it's a really neat job to reach out to the community and ensure that they are provided opportunities for health promotion. Certainly, we need fitness leaders and personal trainers in both community facilities as well as elite training and Sport Manitoba and those kind of areas. A lot of the people that I went to school with ended up in police, fire, and the military after their degrees. And I wanted to add to, from my own perspective, chronic disease health promotion. Sometimes chronic disease organizations hire kinesiologists for exercise, understanding, knowledge, education, etc. We do have an area on our website that has some of our previous grads and what they've been up to and how they pursued their future careers. Our degree is also preparation for other medical and healthcare professions, and you can see the list below. I'll let you just pause and take a look. But I did want to mention that we have a program aligned with the Canadian Memorial Chiropractic College, where some of their prerequisite courses are taught in our department. So you would get credit for them when you go into that program. And for more information on that, again, go back to our department website. There are many associations that you could be members of when you, either now as a student or when you graduate. And I've just mentioned just a couple on the side here. So if you're an athletic therapy student, you will be a member of the Manitoba Athletic Therapy Association, or MATA. And if you certify, you'll be a member of CATA as well. In exercise science, we have the Canadian Kinesiology Association and the Canadian Society for Exercise Physiology, both of which offer continuing education credits. They offer further education, job bank, and lots of opportunities. Also lots of opportunities for networking, just to find out what other people are doing, which is part of career planning. There's also coaching organizations, sports psychology organizations, and an organization probably in every area that you can think of. I would love for people to look, or for students to look into the Physical Activity Coalition of Manitoba. And they are a group of individuals, or I shouldn't say individuals, they're a group of organizations that all have the same mandate for making sure that community opportunities exist for physical activity for every population. So there are organizations such as Healthy Kids, there are the Manitoba Trails Association, and many, many more, but they also put out a really good newsletter. It talks about what's happening in Manitoba. That's the Physical Activity Coalition of Manitoba, or PACM, PACM. And then you can see Participaction, Manitoba Fitness Council, the Active Living Alliance for Canadians with Disabilities, Active Aging Manitoba. These are all resources that if you like the areas and want to pursue, it's worth the research to see what's happening. I would also suggest that you do some volunteering if you haven't yet. So it's time right now in your third, fourth, and plus years to actually stand out in our field. And I don't mean this as any sort of criticism, but I've reviewed a lot of scholarships in the past, and many of our students, they work in retail or in restaurants. So you get really good customer service interaction there, and they're great jobs. But they're not in our field, and they're very common. So we usually have servers and we have people that coach, and that's their qualifications. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with that. They're both excellent things to do. But if there's something that you could do that makes you stand out a little bit more, so whether you are attending conferences, whether you are offering to job shadow at certain places, you have those opportunities, whether you're able to volunteer, and just to see what's out there and how people actually work. It's invaluable because you might actually find out that what you're pursuing is something you don't want to do, which is also valuable. And it saves you a bit more time and takes you in a different direction. So perhaps there's opportunities for networking, perhaps joining a board and seeing how organizations are run. There's so much virtual education happening right now, and throw that on your resume. You know, you can find these opportunities through some of the organizations on the previous slides. A lot of the instructors and professors in our department do research and know what we do and how we may be able to connect you to other opportunities in the community. Perhaps moving into more of a leadership role than a following role that you've been doing already. So maybe you're stepping up and helping to do some exercise counseling or organization of the sports camps, not just an instructor, and those kinds of things. And then really personality wise, try and show some initiative, start something. There are gaps in sports and physical activity all over the place. Try and fill one of those. See if you can get some people to run a program or get involved in other things. Try and have a clear vision of what you're working towards. But I do recognize that is very, very challenging. That's why I'm here. I never really left university. So on that note, again, I mentioned if you have other questions, and I know I'm obviously not available to chat with, but do get to know us as instructors. And you don't have to love our classes to ask how we got where we did or what kind of opportunities are around in our areas. And you can certainly ask Sandra Weeb is our department assistant. She would be able to help with things like declaring majors and any questions you might have regarding grad coming up that isn't maybe on the website, etc. And her email is either kinesiology@uwinnipeg.ca or saweeb@uwinnipeg.ca. So with that, good luck in the next couple of years. Connect with us if you have any questions. Don't ever be shy about that, and all the best to you this year.